Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International to take a look at a new series of books. Don't forget to subscribe, button's down there somewhere, that way you'll get notified of all the future videos. Today we're going to have a look at something from Kagero. This is one of their top drawing series, volume 61. This one's all about the Messerschmitt 110. Okay, so let's see what we get inside the book. Start with this is volume 61 of the Top Drawings series. These are basically, these cover a lot of aircraft, also some ships and also some armoured vehicles as well. So it's the Messerschmitt Bf110 volume 2 by Kagero, published in English, mask foil free, which is this. There's a set of masks here for a 148th and a 172nd Bf110G. I can also see Edward is written on here as well, so may well be for one of their kits, I guess. Not much point in putting a photo of this on the website since it's just a black sheet. As far as you can see, I'm just using reflections to see. Basically it's all the canopies are covered there, all the big long greenhouse. So what do we get? A bit of a history of the 110. Basically this book covers the E, F and G. I presume volume 1 will cover the earlier versions. It also mentions that the ME 210 was supposed to replace the 110, but that didn't go so well. They ended up with the 210 was basically a problem child and was no better than the 110. Hence the reason the 110 was developed further. E and F were sort of early, the G was the definitive version of the 110 and the last version of the 110. So what do we get? So looking through here, it starts off with the 148th scale drawings. This is an E1, side views, front views, back views. So you say with the wing and the engine in place, without the wing and engine, so you can see things. Basically this is perfect if you're doing any scribing to know what panel lines need to go where, what access panels go where, and specific details of your aircraft. I'll turn this over, there's the E2, F2, and basically it goes through in the same way. F2 up there. So basically, as it says, it's a drawings book. So if you're going to town on an EF or a G, this book would be ideal for you, getting everything right, getting the details all correct. You might wonder what the difference is, should we say, between an F4 and a G2, but that I'll cover that a bit later on. It becomes apparent what the differences are. So they're really neat diagrams, well produced. So let's just, and that's the final one, the G2. Then we have a couple of profiles, an all black one from 1940, an E2. And there's a really good pictures there of an E1 from the Eastern Front. Now there's two sets of pull-out diagrams here. Let's see if I can show you what they are. Basically it's 4 sheets of paper. This is a G4. And you've got basically side diagrams, all the diagrams are here. Basically it's like the ones that are in the book, but they're bigger, all on one piece of paper, so you can do something with it without ruining your book. And it also, for the wider shots that are wider than a page, like the full width front view here, which won't fit on one piece of paper. So you've got those, and over on the other side, top bottom views of G2s and 4s and 3s. G2, 3 and 4 all here. that's that one. And this one is upside down. This covers the E1, E2 and E2 Tropical. And again, you can see exactly where all the panel lines are supposed to be. Basically everything you might need to know if you're doing any form of scribing, rebuilding, converting, scratch building, anything like that. Everything you need to know is on here. There's an E, F2, F3 and F4 on this side. And these diagrams are these diagrams are all 1/48 scale so far, in the book and on these sheets. So those are pretty damn good. Now let's continue through with the book. I can turn page. More colour profiles. What's that? An F2 and a G2 from 1944. And then side profiles of going through all the different G models, G2, G2 Tropical. Now we get on to the 1/72nd scale diagrams. And what they've done here is, remember I said at the beginning the bit about knowing what the differences are. When you see bits in grey, like this fuel tank, that's a change from the previous ones, and the changes are all listed underneath. So you can start off with this, the 1/72nd scale, quickly find what the changes are, then use the 1/48th, assuming you're building 1/48th, to zoom in on the details. So we got a D3 as sort of snuck in here, even though the book seems to cover these F's and G's mostly. There's a D3 diagram there. E1, E2, E2 Tropical, E3's, F's. Basically going through, and it highlights canopy changes, engine changes. At one point the DF loop underneath the fuselage disappears, exhaust changes in the F's, F4 version. Modified rear canopies, radars, under fuselage bomb racks, more engine changes, and then going through all these different, there's lots of side profiles here, all the way to the very final version, to show you exactly what changes. And on the very back cover, another two colour profiles, G4s, this one. So all in all, if you're, like I said, if you're sort of going to town on a 110 build, personalising it, scratch building, modifying, anything like that, this is basically the one reference you'll need to get all your details correct on the exterior of the aircraft. You get a free set of canopy masks, well, two free sets, 1/48th and 1/72nd for 110G, and you get all the diagrams basically 1/48th scale, extra as well, on separate sheets of paper, so you can do with as you see fit. So pretty neat little thing, and this is volume 61. Obviously there's a lot of these around already, and I think they've already moved beyond 61 as well, I think up to 67 already or something like that. So yeah, pretty neat set of, well, this is a pretty neat book, and it sort of leads me to believe that's a pretty neat set of books that they've got. So many thanks to Kagero for sending this along for us to have a look at.